Hello and welcome everyone to another Thursday evening here for Zenith Online Racing Tier 2. Tonight coming to you from round 13 at the Hungary Ring here in Hungary as I said earlier, for Tier 2 Racing. It's going to be me, Iro Packer, taking you through main comms here, and then Camden here assisting me. How's it going, Camden?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Really been enjoying this week so far. I'm off tomorrow from school, so I'm very, very happy with that. This is going to be a good race to kick off my extended weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like things are dry in qualifying, so we won't have any wet conditions in qualifying. But yeah, Hungary's an interesting track. We were there on Monday. Yeah, definitely interesting.
Yeah, I believe you picked up your second podium in a row in Hungary. Dylan
Yeah.
getting 1-2 there. You had a nice little battle with Arrow, and then I believe Zamagos and Ryan like inside the top 7 there throughout most of the races. Adri Lockdock retires. He is one of the reserves, but I'm going to be going on board with Zamagos here, who's reserve, so we're not going to actually be watching him. We're going to be watching second place in the championship, who is Scavney in the McLaren, his McLaren teammate, just behind him going through turn 3 right now. But that's also a good segue into the championship standing here in Tier 2 for Hungary, as we do have Alt Maverick leading the championship by 16 points to the McLaren we are on board with right now, Scavney 720. With 150, and then you have Puff Digital and Arbiga. The two Ferraris are very, very close this season, pretty equally matched throughout the last few races. Puff being on 113 and Biga on 109. Ferrari is leading the Constructors' Championship by 28 points. And then you have Sam M in the Red Bull on 86, and Soy Loco very, very close behind him, with Barkschool also behind him. Soy Loco and the Williams on 83, and Barkschool in 7th place on 78 points. And then you have the two racing points of Jinnit and RC and Jinnit, and then Mr. Baboon rounding out the top 10. Terminal Deity, Eric, JMG, Lit Romney, Wolfsburg, Niebuhr, and Hightower rounding out the points. And we also have a new driver here tonight. It is Monkey Mafia in the AlphaTauri. He's going to be the first AlphaTauri full-time driver in quite a while, as we do have Scavney coming through turn 1 with a big, big lockup to start his first flying run. Why don't you take us through it?
Yeah, so Scavney right now on track, one of the top guys in the championship. Looks like he is heading through turn 3 right now. Just finished the 2 DRS straights. Turn 4, easy to invalidate there. He doesn't. Turn 5, easy to clip the curves on the inside. He doesn't. Things are looking pretty solid so far as he heads into turns 6 and 7, right on those curves. Nicely done. Through turns 8 and 9, this is through sector 2 right now. You have to be very precise through here. Into turn 11, you got to make sure you don't go too wide through there. He does a good job of that. Into turn 12, this is actually where I invalidated on Monday through qualifying. Turn 13, we are now in sector 3. And this is one of the most crucial corners right here. Turn 14, as he goes through the corner, heads out onto the front straight, gets DRS. Comes back to the finish line with a 1:15.4, so that's not a bad first lap, but I can imagine that will be overtaken pretty soon.
Yeah, as his McLaren teammate Niebuhr coming across the line, his Alt Maverick goes on pole. He did have a little bit of traffic there towards the later half of his lap, as the two racing points crossed the line. Jinnit going into P3 on the 15.4. Now we have Soy Loco on the mediums going in front of Niebuhr in the McLaren. I think Niebuhr just making a few mistakes, as well. Maverick is right up behind him towards the end of this lap. And then we do have the AlphaTauri, the new driver of Monkey Mafia, going into P5 on the 17.6 on the mediums. Not too bad, as he does set a purple final sector on my screen.
Yeah, not a bad first lap at all, especially being on the mediums. We'll have to see what he can do on the softs, but that's a good point. I'll have to see what drivers do in qualifying, whether we'll see people go on the softs or the mediums. Last week, I think the majority of people at the front were on the softs, so I can imagine that a lot of people will be on the softs, but looks like Maverick, the first guy in the 114s.
Yeah. We did see that earlier. He did have a little bit of traffic, but we're also going to have to look out for Puff, who I'm going to go on board with right now, coming through turn, actually breaking into turn 12 right now, coming across that third sector split. Not using a lot of exit there, going through turn 12. Now through turn 13, this corner is very, very easy to lock up a left front there. And now actually coming into the pit lane, interestingly enough, we did see Puff Digital do a 13.5 in time trial, so he's really going to be hoping to match that lap time here tonight.
Yeah, that's a fantastic lap. You got to wonder if maybe he was just going out there scuffing the softs, and maybe he'll be qualifying on the mediums. You mentioned it, he put up a very good time in time trial. Maybe he could qualify up front on the mediums and do the reverse strategy for the race. But yeah, definitely weird to see him go back into the pits on his flyer, but we'll have to see what he does. Looks like Jinnit in third. 1:15.4. The racing points have been pretty good in qualifying lately. They just haven't been getting the results the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, the racing points, as you mentioned, I believe both of them were in the top 5 for Britain, and then not being able to convert that into a good race result. We do have RC7 coming to complete his first lap. Actually, he's invalid, and he has turned his ERS down, so I believe he will be coming into the pit lane here. As most people have finished their first runs, as Arbiga, the second Ferrari, is out on his outlap right now, as actually Wolfsburg in the Haas is coming through turn 3 right now on his first lap time on the mediums. The high tower in front of him might have to get out of the way just towards the end of this lap. Now coming through turn 5, it is very easy to touch that inside curve. They're staying well away from it. He knows that curve can be very, very dangerous. Now braking for the chicane, going down to second gear. Normally going to want to upshift there and take a lot of exit curve just to get the best run and the best line, carry the most speed through this left-right chicane. Now through the flat-out turn of turn 10, now through turn 11 is very difficult. This corner now braking about the 50-meter board. Now going through turn 12, another right-hander, very, very difficult on traction. Now here braking, very, very difficult on the left front tire, having a little bit of a slide there, opening up the throttle. Now going through the last corner on these medium tires. What is the time going to be for Wolfsburg? He's coming across the line now. He does a 18 flat and goes P8.
Yeah, not a bad first lap. I'm sure he'll want to improve on that, but that's a good lap just to get on the board, just to make sure that you're in the lap times. But yeah, we'll have to see what he does. Looks like Sam has a 1:15.7. That's on the softs. He's been very good in qualifying as well lately. I think a couple of weeks ago he was on pole. So Sam heading back out right now. We'll see what he can do in this qualifying session with 10 minutes left.
Yes, as Puff Digital, the man who set that 13.5 in time trial earlier on today or this week or some point. But yeah, Puff Digital now coming through turn 4, now through turn 5, purple first sector. I'm sure we could all really expect that, but we're also gonna have to look out for Alt Maverick. Alt Maverick has been really, really strong in the last few races. Scavney just falling off a little bit, and Alt Maverick extending the championship lead. Now Puff Digital through the turn 8 and 9 chicane, really, really nice through there. Now through the flat out left of turn 10, now through turn 11, downshifting down to 6th gear, taking a lot of inside curve there, going purple in the middle sector. That could just be a glitch though. Now braking for turn 12, no lockups at all. This has been very, very clean, this middle sector and this first sector. Now going through turn 13, not locking a front, as most drivers will do tonight. Now going through the last corner. This corner is probably the second most important corner on the last sector. Now coming across the line, doing a 14.4
Wow.
and going 5.5 tenths faster than Alt Maverick. To be honest, I think we all really expected that, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, when you put up a 1:13.5 in time trial, you're definitely setting the standard, and yeah, he's half a second ahead of Alt Maverick right now. We'll have to see if anybody can do better than that, but that is definitely a fantastic lap time. And as of late, Puff has been doing very well. Remember, just a few weeks back, he was around 7th in the point standings, got in the podium last week, and now he is up to 3rd in the standings ahead of his teammate Biga, and they are both at the top in constructors. So Puff really having a lot of pace lately, and this is when it matters most. We are now in the second half of the season, and he is definitely not out of the championship discussion at all.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Puff is only on 113 points. He's only about 50 points behind the championship leader of Alt Maverick, as Newer goes into P9, and the Williams behind him of Terminal Deity. goes on to a 16.4 going P7. But yeah, Puff Digital and our Biga can really make a championship push here. Biga has been the better of the two Ferraris in the last 2 to 3 races, I say. But yeah, as you mentioned, he's been really improving in the championship standings right now, as he is on pole by 5/10 right now. He did qualify second last time out in Britain, so just improving every Thursday evening.
Yeah, and we have a comment right now that says, "Tell Puff that is a tier 1 time that he just put up," and I mean, I agree. That is a very good time that Puff put up. Who knows? Maybe Puff is sandbagging this season. No, but Puff really fast, and it looks like Sam recently put up a 1:15.2, so he improved on his previous time, and he's up in the top 4 right now. Zenith put up a 1:15.4 on mediums. So we have some pretty close times from about, I would say, 3rd to maybe 6th, I think, are pretty close right now in times.
Yeah, most definitely. As you did mention, Zenith is 5th place on those medium tires. Monkey Mafia, his first time racing here in ZOR for Season 4 in Tier 2. He is in the Alpha Tauri. Going P6 there on a 15.5. Not too bad from the new drivers. Niebuhr comes to start a flying lap. I believe the Mercedes behind him and the Ferrari behind him, both coming into the pit lane. So we are going to watch a little bit of this lap from Niebuhr, taking a lot of inside curb there, but then just going very, very wide and completely ruining his traction there on the exit of turn 1. But I do believe we have Soy Loco. He's coming to start a lap. I just want to see if any of these people are coming to finish one. Niebuhr is coming through turn 14, turn 13, my bad, right now. Sam M. Coming into the pit line. So yes, we are going to go back to Mr. Baboon on the medium tires that actually pits.
Niebuhr has crashed and he is out of the session. That was in turn 5. He went wide, lost control, and his qualifying session is over. So unfortunately he'll be starting at the back, as right now he's 13th on the grid.
Yeah, Soy Loco, actually, you're gonna have to watch Soy Loco's lap here. He just went purple in the first sector. He's up by 3/10 already, just through the first 3 corners of this of the Hungaroring here. Now coming through the turn 8-9 chicane. Not too bad from the man in the wheel, and not through turn 10 and through turn 11. Soy Loco is known as quite a good qualifier, and he can also certainly convert that into the race. He's at 1.1 seconds up. This should be able good enough to put him towards the top 5, maybe even on the front row here if he doesn't ruin this last sector. But if he's improving by this much, I don't think there's anyone who could really fight him on it. Now coming through the last corner, derating already on his DRS, now through 4th gear, flat out through the last corner, opening up DRS and crossing the line. He's going to be going P2, only 3.5 tenths behind Puff, but that's still a massive margin.
Yeah, and he puts himself ahead of Maverick too. So Maverick outside of the front row, and just like that, he is on his outlap. So we'll see if Maverick can get ahead of Soy Loco and get back on the front row, and Puff as well. Puff is trying for another lap as well, which I think is interesting. We'll have to see if anybody can get by Puff, but right now it looks like Soy Loco is the closest one to Puff.
Yes, Hightower coming across the line, improving by 2 seconds and only going into P2. He's going to be the last of the people who've set a valid lap time so far. Alt Maverick, the championship leader, coming across the line to start what might be his last flying lap here in Hungary. His last opportunity to get onto pole position and to go even closer towards that championship, as he's stuck behind the Alfa Romeo here, Mr. Baboon. He's going to have to get out of the way. Hightower getting out of the way nicely, but yeah, Alt Maverick just getting held up here on his lap, so I don't think he's backing off already. 4.5 tenths down there, going to start his lap. The second half is coming through the first sector right now, but now Zenith on the mediums. He's going to be coming through turn 3 here. The Racing Point already in P6 with Soy Loco improving up into the front row. But now Zenith, it's 2.5 tenths up on these medium tires on that 15.4. He has probably a lot of time to find here on these medium tires on this lap time with almost 4 minutes left in this short qualifying session. Now coming through the turn 8-9 chicane, could be going a little bit more left there on the exit of 8 now, invalidating. Oh. Yeah, he tried to carry too much speed because he carried too much speed there through turn 8 and now had to just compromise the line for turn 9. Let Romney is on outlap, as well as Eric. Who is the closest one to finishing a lap here?
Let's see. Looks like we have Sam. Looks like he's in. Oh, just invalidated. So nope, we don't have him. Looks like Puff is heading through. I would say turn 11 right now. Purple sector. So this could be one to watch.
Yeah, Puff right now is 2.5 tenths up going through turn 3. Again, not locking that brake. We've seen a lot of drivers do that here tonight. Now having good traction through the exit turn 13. Now through turn 14. He's going to be absolutely crucial to get a good exit here if he wants to improve on his time. D-rating across the line, opening the DRS. He goes on to a 14.1. He's been absolutely dominant tonight so far. Let's see if he can convert that into the race in about 5 minutes time.
Yeah, and like I said before, Puff is just setting the standard tonight. He is 6 tenths ahead of his next guy, which is Soy Loco. Maverick has another shot at it too. Looks like he is pretty far up on his lap. We'll see what he can get here. He's coming through turn 14 right now. Let's see if he improves.
Yeah, going on to a 14.3, going to beat out Siloco. Siloco is on an outlap though. We're gonna go to Wolfsburg here. He is actually down and invalid. He might be going for another lap on those soft tires, maybe to put himself inside the top 10. He is P12 right now. Now let Romney coming through the last corner in the Mercedes. I believe coming to start a lap here, as he's used almost no ERS on that lap. Yeah, 8.2 seconds down. Now the Williams of Siloco coming to start a lap with the Mercedes of Eric right behind him. Eric is invalid. And he's coming, yeah, he just finished that lap. Now Siloco. I think we're gonna watch on board here with Siloco. I know there's a lot of other people doing laps here, a lot of people retiring already. Siloco coming through turn 2 right now, the downhill of turn 3. He's going to be clipping that inside curve very, very nicely. Now going back up the hill towards turn 4. This corner very, very difficult. I want to get on that entry curve. Only half a tenth down, or up, or well, yeah, down on his 14.7. He's going to be wanting to improve and find those 4 tenths to try and beat Alt Maverick to that front row. Now coming through turns 8 and 9, very, very nice. He did not do what Zenith did earlier and take too much speed through turn 8. Now through turn 10, oh, he's in backed off. Yeah, it seems he's backed off on his lap. Alt Maverick coming into the pit lane, and then Lit Romney coming to finish the lap using a very, very tight line there through the last corner. Now getting the traction, opening up the DRS across the line. He's going to be going P9, improving by half a second and only moving up a few places.
Yeah, and as that was all happening, it looks like Biga moved up into 6th with a 1:15.4, and it looks like he's doing another lap right here, potentially. So we'll see if he can improve on that. Nope, he's going into the pits. So looks like Zenith right now on a lap on the medium, so he's really going to be going with the reverse strategy, it looks like. We'll see if he can improve on that time of a 1:15.48.
Yeah, and the oh! Okay, well, yeah, as you say that, I was about to say he was half a tenth up, which would have gained him that place over our Big Up, and now he has crashed out of the session there going through turn 11, so no cars should be able to finish their laps here. Actually, Hightower is on a lap right now. He's 6 tenths up, going very, very wide there through turn 10, just not having the grip with these overcast conditions. I don't think, now staying valid there by some miracle. There through turn 11, now through turn 13. Looks pretty nice, having a little bit of a slide there. He's still on a 17.8 right now. As long as he improves by about 3 and a bit tenths, he should be moving up into 14th place. He's improved by 6 tenths, and he's going to be going in front of Niebuhr, but only improving by that 1 place over the McLaren of Niebuhr.
Hey, it's still a great effort from him, though, to get ahead of Niebuhr, just, 1 spot at a time, and I think that will do it, though. So Puff putting up a 1:14.1 for the pole, and the points leader right alongside him. So Scavney is definitely going to need to make up some places on the start, as he'll be starting in P4, a couple spots behind Maverick.
Yeah, as we did say, Puff Digital on that 14.1. He did set that 13.5 in time trial earlier on, but getting just about 6/10 away from that. But it is Puff Digital anyways on pole here in Hungary to Alt Maverick, the championship leader, and then to Soy Loco in P3, going to be the first one on that second row. It's actually raining a little bit towards the very end of this qualifying session. I did just notice that.
Yeah, let's go through the grid real quickly before we get to predictions.
As I said earlier, Soy Loco in P3, and then the second place in the championship, Scavney, as you mentioned at the end of that qualifying session. He's going to have to make up positions, as he's not been really on form since, I'd say, probably around Canada, taking that win from Alt Maverick on the last lap. And then Sam M in the Red Bull, Bigga the second Ferrari down in P6. Then Jinnit actually set his time on the soft tires in P7. Then Monkey Mafia, the new driver, in P8. Lit Romney in Wolfsburg rounding out the top 10. Then Mr. Baboon, Terminal Deity, RC, Hightower, and Niebuhr being the last 5 Tier 2 drivers to set a lap time. They're going to be starting on the opposite strategy, I would guess, because those soft tires are pretty much horrendous. And then the rest of the drivers are Tier 1 reserves, and they will not be scoring points tonight. But they're just looking to have a good time.
Yeah, so looks like things are pretty dry for the race, so we won't have to worry about any wet conditions. But I think it's time for predictions. And as I mention every week, my predictions tend to not work out pretty well. I tend to be a curse for these drivers, but I'm going to start out with mine. So I'm going to have, let's put Puff on the top step of the podium. He's obviously very fast. We're going to put Maverick in second, and I'm going to go with Sam in third. But like I said, hopefully my predictions don't affect any of these drivers at all.
Yeah, you are definitely known for having that commentator's curse, but I just want to point out to the Tier 1 guys, you better listen up. Puff would be P3 on the grid on Monday night with his lap time. So yeah, that one's on you too, Camden. But yeah, now on to my predictions. I mean, unless he gets an absolutely dreadful start and he just gets all the most worst luck ever to be seen, I don't really think anyone's going to be fighting Puff tonight for this race when, as Niebuhr has readied up to start this formation lap here in the sunny Hungaroring. But yes, Puff should be able to win this race. I'm going to go for a little bit of a championship fight on the second and third places of the podium. I believe Scavney could take this one away from Alt Maverick and take P2 and gain back a few points in that championship fight.
Cool. Yeah, and also, guys at the back, you got to look out for guys like Eric. The last few weeks, he started towards the back, but has always found his way towards the front. I remember last week, I think in the first 4 laps, he started around 18th, and he was up into P7. So Eric does a very good job at the start of the race of moving his way forward. You got guys like RC back there. You got guys like Terminal. So these can be pretty crazy starts here at Hungary, just because you got to get everything you can get going into turn 1, just because of the limited amount of passing opportunities here. But yeah, this should be a very interesting start for sure.
Yes, most definitely. I am looking at the comments right now, and Mark Photo putting in there that there might just be a little bit of wet weather for this Hungarian Grand Prix. I'm not too sure how accurate that is, as these drivers are coming through turns 8 and 9, or at least Puff Digital is on the formation lap, warming up his soft compound tires for this Hungarian Grand Prix. Now coming just through wrong tab. Just through turn 11 here, but yeah. Now let's look towards the tire choices for these drivers. Obviously, the top 10 have to start on the tires that they qualified on, so the top 10 are going to be on those soft tires. Alt Maverick getting a little bit excited there through turn 12. But now and then Mr. Baboon in P11, RC, Hightower, Niebuhr, and Colin 13th through 16th respectively on the medium tires, and Eric, the tier 2 driver, also on the mediums. And then everybody else outside the top 10, which is Terminal Deity, Adri, Zemagos, and Ryan, starting on the hardest of the 3 compounds brought to the Hungaro ring.
It's good to see a good crowd in the chat too. We got a lot of people in here. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. Not many people on the hards, most people on the softs, but lots of different strategies, and this start will be very interesting. Zemaglis on Monday got a very good start. We'll see if he can do that again today.
Yeah, Zemaglis getting a very, very good launch behind the pole sitter. So let's see if Soy Loco can do that and disrupt the flow of these top 2. Going to the 5 red lights here. It's Eric has jumped the start, so he's not going to be having very much fun on this first lap. Now Puff getting away very, very well, it seems, out front. He's going to be going side by side with Alt Maverick there into turn 1. Alt Maverick on the inside, as we all well, started on the inside there as well. Puff looks to kept P1 in his Ferrari. Soy Loco going up the inside of Alt Maverick there into turn 2. Soy Loco going to have the outside line for turn 3. He's going to have to give up that position because that line is not favorable. Sam is up into P4 in front of Arbig. Actually, they're going side by side here through turn 4. Arbig is going to get that on the outside. He did have to extend Sam going into back of him just a little bit there. Scavney losing 2 positions there on the start to Sam and Big, as we do have a yellow flag there as one of the Alpha Towers is spun off. I believe that is Monkey Mafia, the new driver. He's going to be having a tough start to this Grand Prix. Now, yeah, Sam falling just a little bit off the back of Biggie there. Biggie having a very, very good start up into P4 from 6th position and just on the back of these top 4.
Yeah, great start from Bega, who's moved up 2 spots. Wolfsburg moved up 3. He's in P7, but it looks like the top 3 have stayed where they are. I just saw some carbon fiber fly. I think Maverick has wing damage.
That would be absolutely devastating for the beginning of his race. But yeah, we did see Jinnit going. Oh yeah, Alt Maverick has left end plate. His left end plate is completely gone. So Loco going to be going up the inside here. So Loco knows he has to take advantage of this wing damage and try and chase down Puff before Puff shows what could be his superior race pace. As Alt Maverick looking maybe to fight the Williams there for P2. But yeah, Puff probably looking right now just to try and get away from these other 3 drivers. Sam is still within DRS, so we do have a train down to 6th place. Scavney being the very, very back of that train. Yeah, Alt Maverick just struggling so much with that end plate damage. But yeah, Scavney is just on the back of these leaders.
So I just want to point out real quick, we did get confirmation that there's not necessarily news of rain or water in the forecast. So I just want to point that out. But yeah, Maverick, yeah, I think it's going to be a struggle for him just because he's got wing damage, he's going to be tight, and I can imagine that he'll pick up a couple penalties just because he's going to be desperate, probably track extending because his car won't be turning as well. So yeah, not a good start for Maverick, but luckily for him, Scavney is caught back in 6th right now, but Maverick's in the pits actually.
Yeah, Maverick coming in already to fix his wing damage. He's going to have to make an insane tire-saving strat to get any compounded tires to the end of the race as DRS is enabled. Arbiga with Alt Maverick having damage, they're just stuck behind him because it is very, very difficult here to overtake in Hungary. Arbiga now 1.9 seconds back from the top 2, but Puff Digital is going to be very, very happy with his Ferrari teammate there. He's going to just be hoping that Biga can keep the rest of the field back so him and Soy Loco can battle out for this race win.
Yeah, great stuff from Soy Loco so far. He's really hung in with Puff, and hey, as long as he can stay within that DRS range, he's going to stay with Puff, as DRS is active this lap. So Soy Loco, like we said before, he's been good in qualifying the last few weeks, just hasn't been getting the results, and if he just keeps it clean, he absolutely has a shot this race.
Yeah, most definitely. Soy Loco just about 7/10 behind Puff Digital coming across the middle sector split, actually losing a tenth there through turn 11, having a little bit of a slide. But yeah, our biggest starting just to fall back just a little bit. I believe he has lost a few tenths on this lap already, with Sam M and almost the entire rest of the field right behind him. Sam having a little bit of a slide there out of the penultimate corner. Now he's going to have to be looking behind to Scabney. We are going to go on board with the second place in the championship, opening up the DRSs, both of them. Sam having that DRS off the back of the Ferrari up our biggest. Scabney not going to be close enough to make a move down into turn 1, braking just a little bit early, maybe to look to get a cut back here on Sam, but it's not going to happen. Both of them having just a tiny lockup. Wolfsburg is actually very, very on the edge of DRS, a second back, even with the DRS now going into turn 2, with Jinnit right behind him. Jinnit on those soft tires. We thought he might have started on the mediums, but it definitely didn't happen, as Eric down in P16 started on those medium tires, has set the fastest lap and seems to be on a charge in his Mercedes.
Yeah, Wolfsburg, really good start for him, has gained 4 spots and is, like you said, just on the edge of DRS from Scavney, so good start from him. Looks like Scavney is all over the back of Sam, which Sam is close to Biga, so we have a little bit of a train from about 3rd to 5th, but that easily could be 3rd to 7th, as Wolfsburg and Jinnit are not too far behind.
Yeah, Wolfsburg just not having really the pace of these top 5, just, yeah, as we mentioned earlier, actually just getting into DRS just for a little bit there, going through the penultimate corner. He's actually going to snag DRS going through the penultimate corners. Hightower down to 19th on, who has fitted fresh soft tires after pitting early in this Grand Prix, has picked up a penalty. But yeah, Wolfsburg just barely staying on the lifeline that is DRS to this 3-car train for 3rd place. Biga has actually clawed back just a little bit of time in these last 2 laps, and Soy Loca has fallen out of the DRS range of Puff Digital, your race leader. But yes, our Biga, now that Soy Loca is out of DRS, you're just closing him down ever so slightly.
Yeah, and Soy Loco being out of DRS range is huge for Puff. This will allow Puff to really pull away from him. We know Puff has pace, so I can imagine that that gap is going to extend, but right now we still have those guys 3rd through 5th really fighting with each other, so Sam, he just needs a little bit more to get to Biga. I don't think right now he's in position to get by him, but as long as Sam just stays consistent, I think he'll have a shot to get by Biga, as long as he just stays within DRS range.
Yeah, as Jinnit really stuck up behind the Haas of Wolfsburg, is Jinnit actually going to be going to the outside of turn 12, braking way later than the Wolfsburg of Haas on the inside. He's going to get that move done. That's a very, very nice move from Jinnit in the Racing Point. He's also going to have DRS to the back of Scabney. That's going to be huge for Jinnit. Jinnit was just so held up behind Wolfsburg in the Haas. Wolfsburg having that very, very good start, but now going on to lap 6 of this Grand Prix. Wolfsburg seems to be fading here to the rest of the field.
Yeah, and I'm noticing that it looks like Biga is starting to close a little bit on Soy Loco. As I mentioned before, Soy Loco, ever since he's gotten out of DRS, he has just kind of fallen away from Puff, and Biga is right on the edge of DRS. So we could see a battle here for 2nd between Biga, Soy Loco, and everybody that Biga is bringing with him.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Wolfsburg has really been fading here. He's already lost a position to Jinnit on the previous lap, now losing a position to Lit Romney in this first sector. Wolfsburg picking up his first penalty, the 2nd driver to do so here in round 13. Now he's just he's just fading, as he actually has a little bit of a spin. He's going to let Mr. Baboon through. He's also going to let RC through. GP Colin is not going to be close enough to capitalize on that mistake from the Haas driver, but yeah, Wolfsburg just struggling so much. He has almost no ERS, and his tires have completely gone off.
Yeah, and it looks like we have a really close battle for 7th between Lit Romney, Mr. Baboon, and RC. These guys are very close to each other, so DRS should be interesting. But speaking of DRS, looks like Soy Loco in the pits, but it looks like Sam could have DRS on Biga, but yeah, Soy Loco in the pits.
Yeah, Sam on almost no ERS. Biga not having much more. Puff Digital out here just he's been absolutely spoiled with his ERS usage, not using really any of it. Just has so much to use. Very, very hard to recharge that battery here. But Soy Loco does pit from 2nd place. Going onto the hard tires, he should be able to make those last to the end of the race. So yeah, he's going to be going on to the 1 stop, I would think. But yeah, now it's going to be a Ferrari 1-2 here in Hungary with Sam M half a second back, and then Scavney who's actually lost DRS. Maybe him and Jin have been fighting just a little bit there for P4. I know Jin has been Jin has actually been really showing his pace, conserving his tires behind the Haas of Wolfsburg, who's now down in P10. Jin can just use his superior, well, I guess superior soft tires to close up, and it looks like he might be close to passing second place in the championship.
Yeah, Jinnit looking very strong right now. You mentioned it before. He got by Wolfsburg, and now he's on Scavney, and he's within range of second and third as well if they can find a way to get up to them. But it looks like third and fourth are in the pits. Sam and Scavney both pitting now.
Yeah, Sam and Scavney both reacting to the pit stop from Soylogo, who was P2 before his pit stop, now down in 15th place. But yes, those two are going to be reacting and pitting off their soft tires, I'm guessing to go to the hards to the end. But now Jinnit is just outside of DRS range, using the DRS he got off of Scavney. Coming through the penultimate corner. That DRS detection point is just before the pit lane, as Puff Digital is actually going to be picking up a penalty here. His first penalty, he's out in the lead. He has absolutely no pressure from behind, but he's just picking up penalties. But now Biga might be forced into a number 2 role here to keep the rest of the field behind.
Yeah, and keep an eye on that too, because remember last week, Puff, when he was trying to track down Maverick, he actually picked up 2 penalties late in the race too. So as long as Puff stays in front, I think he'll be more disciplined. But remember, Puff last week got a couple penalties late in the race, so penalties could make a difference. But I mean, you look at the gap; he's already 8 seconds ahead of his teammate. So I don't think 1 penalty will be bad as long as he doesn't get 2 or 3 penalties. But he is in the pits this lap, it looks like.
Yeah, Arbiga is probably going to be forced here to stay out another lap, as he did pick up I believe Soyloco, the challenger for this race win, has picked up a penalty. So Puff Digital and Soyloco are going to be equal on penalties. But Arbiga and Jinnit actually are both staying out. Jinnit's going to be looking to the outside of here of Arbiga into turn 1. We're going to go onto the broadcast cameras. Actually, Mr. Baboon is very close to these two. Jinnit going all the way around the outside. Biga really not fighting that for P1, having a little slide there on the exit of turn 1. He has let Mr. Baboon through. Mr. Baboon and RC are both on the medium tires. Jinnit and Biga are on the normal strategy here. They qualified inside the top 10 and started on those soft tires. They really are struggling with their tire wear. More Biga than Jinnit. Jinnit having a provisional lead here on lap 9.
Yeah, and if I were Biga, I am getting off these tires immediately, because look behind him. Biga has a train of cars on fresher tires right behind him, so he needs to just get in the pits and not have to worry about this, because he is getting eaten alive by everybody behind him. And speaking of those guys on fresher tires, Mr. Baboon right now, the first guy on the mediums on that reverse strategy, so he could really be one to watch later in the race. But yeah, Biga I think he needs to just get in the pits right now.
Ooh, Colin on the inside there of turn 12. RC going to be keeping that place. Just keeping around the outside there. Jinnit spun. Jinnit is spun from the race lead. He's definitely has to be coming into the pits now, as All Maverick has picked up a penalty down in P11. He is behind the two net race leaders of Puff and Soyloco. But yeah, Puff has come out 4 seconds in front of the Williams of Soyloco. So he's definitely going to be in the net race lead, as Biga and Jinnit both pit. Puff has such a huge gap to these cars behind. But yeah, Jinnit, he was in the was in front of Biga and could have been in a net P2 or maybe even P3 in front of the Ferrari bin, but now it just has spun through the penultimate corner. Very difficult on traction there, as Sam M, who was in P5. Oh, big crash for Adri there. Puff's gonna have to watch out. Yeah,
he's right in the middle of the track. That could draw a safety car. We'll have to see, but yeah, I saw it looked like Angel Lockdock just Sam in the grass, but it looks like Angel Lockdock just lost it, and this does draw a VSC, not a safety car.
Yeah, Puff will be absolutely thanking any Angels watching over him tonight. He really did not need a safety car here, because that would have completely eradicated his race lead, which is about 4.5 seconds to Soyloco. Soyloco just not having the pace tonight in Hungary, but he is still P2 and can still lock down a very good result for Williams.
This could be big for anybody who hasn't pitted yet, Looks like Hightower still on the softs. He could come in this time. Mr. Baboon coming in and pitting. Only 9 laps on the mediums. Interesting.
Yeah, I believe Mr. Baboon, having the life of those medium tires, the medium tires have been faster than the softs for the last few laps. He's going to be taking advantage of that VSC and going to be pitting under it. He only traveled half the pit lane, though, before the VSC ended, going onto the hard tires, which will most definitely make it to the end as Nebers picks up a penalty. But yeah, Mr. Baboon is going to be negating some of the time that he has lost in the pit lane, coming out just behind Scavney, who's in P10. But yeah, now he's right on the back of the provisional race leaders, Deity and Scavney. Is Scavney out? No, Scavney has front wing damage, though. Second place in the championship. This race has been going so well for him so far. Not losing many points to Alt Maverick, because I don't think Alt Maverick should be able to make it to the end. But now Alt Maverick in P7. A lot of people still have not pit as big as Spun.
What is going on? Lots of incidents, but yeah, Scavney, you just mentioned it. That was the perfect opportunity for him to get a ton of points. Maverick had troubles early in the race, and now that's kind of all out the window. So, and yeah, Biga just spun out. We've had a lot of incidents in the last couple of laps. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, Biga spinning out. Now he is back behind Zenith. Zenith spinning before they pitted. Let Romney looking to the inside of Terminal Deity there for turn 12. Not going to be going for a move on these medium tires. Let Romney has the much fresher tires here as Hightower picks up a penalty down in 18th. But we're also going to have to look down to Monkey Mafia. He has not been having his the greatest first race. As I say that, putting on a little bit of a commentator's curse there. Picking up his first 3-second time penalty in Zenith Online Racing. Now let Romney look into the inside of Terminal Deity for turn 1, braking so much later, using the grip of those medium tires to his advantage, overtaking the Williams. Oh, Terminal Deity spun again, or have spun again through turn 1 on the grass there. But now he's gonna have to look out for Zenith. Zenith in behind, who is about 3.5 seconds back. But yeah, Terminal Deity just struggling so much. He doesn't have any wing damage, which he will be very thankful for. But now, looking towards the net race leader, look at Puff. His lead has actually been shrunk a little bit to Soy Loco. But having Eric in between these two cars is not going to help Soy Loco if he wants to close in, which I don't think he really will be able to do.
Well, you got to keep an eye out for Eric, because Eric is a little over a second ahead of him right now. If Soy Loco can get within a second, he could get DRS, and that would really help him get closer to Puff. But yeah, it looks like he's still pretty far behind Puff right now. So Puff sitting pretty well right now. Everybody ahead of him still has to pit. So Puff doing a very good job so far, it looks like.
Yeah, Puff Digital in a net P1 here, Soy Loco in a net P2, and then the championship leader of Alt Maverick closing down Soy Loco. Alt Maverick having to pit on lap 2 with wing damage, going out of his hard tires. His tires are 4 laps older than Soy Loco's tires, and well, what would it be? 6 laps older than Puff Digital's tires. I really don't think he's going to be able to get to the end on these tires, but he's just pushing flat out right now. He's already closed in 5/10 to Soy Loco on just this lap alone.
Yeah, this would be a really good comeback for Maverick if he's able to just get in the top 5 or even get on the podium after his struggles early on. But I got to think of everything that's happened in the last 3 or 4 laps, whether it's Scavney going around, Biga spinning, Zenith spinning. We've had a lot of guys having big trouble, and looks like Maverick has really capitalized on all of that.
Yeah, a lot of top runners here in the Hungarian Grand Prix having troubles here. Alt Maverick having his own troubles, wing damage on lap 1 when he was fighting for the lead. Is Mr. Baboon down in 9th place, who is on fresh, hard tires, picking up his first penalty. But yeah, Alt Maverick getting that wing damage on lap 2 and then having to pit, but also now into a net P3 behind Eric, who is still yet to pit on his 13-lap-old mediums, and GP Colin, Zamagos, and RC, who have also not stopped into the pit lane yet.
Now, I want to point out, obviously, it's pace, but with how Maverick has moved its way towards the front and is eating up all the track position on Soy Loco, with the penalties that Puff already has, the win is not out of question for Maverick at all. If he can keep moving his way up, he could get the Puff possibly.
Yeah, most definitely. But first, he has to think about Soy Loco here in the net P2. Both of them are in the same company tower, but Alt Maverick tires are 4 laps older. Soy Loco just sliding, just absolutely struggling. Soy Loco just kind of moving out of the way for him, but now they're going side by side through turn 8 and 9. I was on board there with Soy Loco for a little bit, but yeah, now Alt Maverick is going to have the opportunity to chase down Eric, who has not stopped yet in this Grand Prix. But now Soy Loco picking up his second penalty of the race. I don't know if Alt Maverick has any penalties. I believe he has one, and Puff Digital also having one penalty in the net race lead. Nobody pitting yet in front of these three, but yeah, Alt Maverick getting dispatching of Soy Loco now can chase down Eric and maybe get past him and then chase down the net race leader of Puff Digital.
Yeah, and I've noticed a lot of the penalties have come through turn 11. That's where Soy Loco just picked up his penalty. I mentioned it in qualifying. It's very easy to go wide through there, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see more penalties through there. But yeah, turn 11 has definitely been tough for these guys so far.
Yeah, a lot of guys struggling with penalties. The corners, that is very, very easy to get penalties on. I believe in a few qualifying laps that I've done, I invalidated turn 3, which is not the easiest place to invalidate, but also here through turn 4 with Alt Maverick. Turn 5, I don't think you can really invalidate anywhere except for on the exit here, as Alt Maverick just slides through there through turn 5, now through turn 6 and 7, also sliding just a little bit on these hard tires. Now through turn 8, now through turn 9 here on the exit. You can invalidate if you touch that inside of curb wrong through turn 10, and then also through turn 11, as Camden mentioned, very easy to pick up a warning on the outside there. Turn 12, looking pretty nice from Alt Maverick here, just pulling very quickly actually from Soy Loco now through the penultimate corner and through the last corner for the Haas driver. Soy Loco will have DRS as Terminal Dady picks up a penalty down at 15th, just being overtaken by Arbiga on that last lap. But yeah, Alt Maverick steadily pulling away from Soy Loco and seems just maybe to be closing down Puff.
Yeah, I've noticed. It looks like he is gaining a little bit on Puff as well, and we got to think about penalties. Puff already has a penalty. I think Maverick might have one as well, but these warnings will add up quickly here, and all it takes, I think at this point, is Puff getting one more penalty, and these guys are very close on track.
Yeah, as you say that, commentator cursing our net race leader, picking up his second penalty of the Grand Prix. Puff Digital putting himself in a very, very difficult situation right now on lap 16. We are just about halfway through this race. Puff Digital on 2 penalties, and his race rivals Alt Maverick and Soy Loco are only on 1.
That's my bad, Puff. Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, Puff already multiple penalties, and Maverick is consistently gaining on him. So Maverick, this would be huge if Maverick wins. After what he went through, having to pit on lap 3 for wing damage, to come back and win with Scavney having his issues, this would be, I think, if, Maverick has a good end to the season, I think this is definitely something he'll look back on.
Yeah, Maverick could be looking back on this race as a turning point in the championship. I believe France was a turning point in the championship as well. Just getting that momentum, and he's really not let off the gas since France, having a little bit of a stumble though in Austria. Puff going off the road again on the exit of turn 3, just touching the grass on the inside. Still pushing here, as he's still matching his personal best through that first sector, getting nowhere near that death curve at turn 5, as there's a yellow flag in the first sector. I'm not exactly sure who that is for. Jinnit and Wolfsburg's off the track. I don't believe he's hit anything. Yeah, I don't believe he's hit anything, but he did have a little bit of contact there with Jinnit, getting nicely out of the way for the rest of the field. But yeah, Wolfsburg just getting into a spin there and losing a lot of time as, Wolfsburg, that's front wing damage, and he's out. He's retired from the race. I believe he's lost the left rear. Yes, he has. Now, Puff Digital is going to be absolutely so angry if Wolfsburg has just crashed out at turn 4 and caused a safety car, which I don't believe it has. He's nicely off the racing line. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be any type of safety car. But so Puff Digital is going to be very, very happy with that. But Alt Maverick, now since Eric is pit, is just about 3 seconds behind the race leader, or net race leader.
Yeah, I'm just very surprised we haven't had a safety car so far. With all the incidents we've had and now 2 retirements, I'm very surprised we haven't had one yet. This safety car could have been very big for RC7 because he is still out there on the mediums. If the safety car comes out now, this is huge for him. This would put him up front. And yeah, this would not be ideal for Puff because this will put Maverick back with him. But yeah, I think if we keep having these incidents, we'll eventually get a safety car because, like I said, I'm really surprised we haven't had one yet.
Yeah, Wolfsburg and Adri, our first 2 retirees of this race. Adri retiring in between turn 3 and turn 4. Wolfsburg retiring at turn 4, losing his left rear. But yeah, Puff Digital's slowly closing in on the 2 race leaders of RC and Zamagos. Zamagos on the hard tires, RC on the medium tires. I'm expecting RC to be into the pits soon, maybe going for a medium soft strategy here. I'm not too sure how viable a medium hard would be now, since we are well past the halfway point in this Grand Prix. Just about 16 laps left for this race, as the 2 race leaders are slowly closing up as Eric picks up a penalty.
Yeah, and take a look at the gap between Maverick and Puff right now. Maverick is only 3 seconds behind him right now, and keep in mind that Puff has 2 penalties, so this race, I think, is going to be very close between these 2, and like I mentioned before, it's just about not getting penalties because Puff already has 2 of them, and we still have half of this race left.
Yeah, most definitely. I believe all Maverick is on 1. And I think I said earlier that Soy Loco's only on 1, but I believe he is also on 2 penalties, the same as Puff Digital there in P3. And then you have Sam, who would be a net P4, and Mr. Baboon, who pitted under a virtual safety car caused by Adri Lockdock. The first retiree is Jinnit picks up a penalty. But yeah, Mr. Baboon really took advantage of that VSC and got him up himself up into a net P5. So he could be having a really, really nice day for himself in the championship standings, as well as Alfa Romeo down in 8th in the constructors. I don't believe they're going to be making up any places tonight, but they can certainly start to close down AlphaTauri in Racing Point.
Looks like Zamaglis has come in pit, so he is out of the way. I can imagine looks like he's going on the mediums to finish. That's a good move. I think it's too early for the softs. But yeah, this puts RC as the only guy ahead of Puff right now, so Puff really doesn't have to worry about people in front of him. He just has to worry about people behind him, being Maverick and Soy Loco, who just picked up a penalty.
Yeah, I believe Soy Loco now on 3 penalties. Soy Loco always seems to have the pace to be on that podium, and he definitely has the pace to be on the front row most Thursday nights. But just picking out the penalties, and that's been one of the bad things for him. I believe he had penalties in Canada and fighting Alt Maverick there for a race win, and he also had penalties in France and then battling Alt Maverick for the win there. But both times, penalties just costing him good finishing results.
Yeah, and penalties just in general, this race has been huge. There's been a ton of penalties from a lot of guys, and like I said, we're only halfway through, and we have several people with multiple penalties. Looks like we have a yellow.
Biga. That's for Biga. Yeah, Biga. He was at one point in 2nd place of this race. Ryan just going around the outside there of Biga, but Biga has now spun twice, being very, very cautious on those hard tires. I'm sure they are very, very hot. But yeah, as Niebuhr comes out of the pit lane just behind RC7, so Niebuhr is going to be the first car lapped here tonight. But yeah, Biga in the 2nd Ferrari looked to be having a very, very nice night, as Jin has just overtaken GP Colin for P9, and we didn't see that. But also Eric looks to be making a move here on GP Colin. No, not going to be close enough as to no ERS. GP on a very, very good amount of ERS now, coming down the 2nd DRS straight here at the Hungaroring.
Yeah, so I just want to keep in mind the battle between Puff and Maverick right now. Maverick is still slowly chewing in on that gap. And remember, it was actually these guys last week that were battling for the win. Maverick did get the better end of it. We'll have to see what happens this week. It's looking like that could happen again based on penalties, but all it takes is for Maverick to get one more penalty, and they're basically even on track.
Yeah, Alt Maverick is within the penalty window of Puff, as GP Colin just goes a little bit off the track there. But yeah, All Maverick is within 3 seconds of Puff Digital, who's the net race leader. All Maverick in what is a net P2. That's close between Colin and Eric. Eric going for it here into the penultimate corner in the Mercedes. GP Colin is a reserve here. GP Colin is actually derating. He's used so much ERS on this lap to defend, as he's actually going to be pulling into the pit lane. Oh, he has front wing damage. I wonder what that is from. I'm not too sure if I saw him make contact with anybody. That might have been with Jinnit when he overtook him. But yeah, now Jinnit's really on a charge here after a spin before his pit stop. Coming up to the back of it's Eric's teammate Lit Romney in the Mercedes on his fresher hard tires.
Yeah, and just a couple of people to keep in mind. Remember, Mr. Baboon pit under that VSC to get some fresh hard tires. It looks like he's in 6th right now. Could go farther up just because his tires are fresher. And remember, he was on the podium last week, so he's looking pretty good so far. And RC, if a safety car comes out right now, RC is in the perfect position to compete for a podium, because I think at this point you might see some people put on the softs. Maybe in a couple laps it'll be ideal, but RC just making these mediums stretch right now, about to be 22 laps. So like I said, if a safety car comes out, which very well could happen with all these incidents today, RC would be in the perfect spot and would definitely spoil guys like Puff and Maverick and even Soy Loco.
Yeah, RC taking these tires now onto their 22nd lap here of the 14 corner Hungaroring circuit. But yeah, we did see Aerostrike on Monday take his medium tires, I believe 23 laps, getting a puncture down into turn 12 on the very last lap. So I want to see what RC can do on those tires. They have to be in puncture range now, because I know Aero's tires were on 84%, so there's absolutely no way they aren't in puncture range. But I really don't know how he's going to be able to stretch those tires any longer and go onto the soft compound.
Looks like Puff was able to get by Hightower there, so he's out of the way. Looks like Maverick still has a ways to go, and is still around 2.6 back. He hasn't really gained any, hasn't lost any. He's just kind of sat at that gap.
Yellow flag. I believe that is for Niebuhr getting out of the way of the leaders.
RC still staying out, so this will be 23 laps. We'll have to see. Let's see if he can make these work. Like I said, he's going to have to get lucky, but 23 laps, and I can imagine he might stay out for maybe a couple more laps, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, but now going back to the front, Puff is really not closing down RC. Puff having a 9-lap fresher hard tires than RC, who started on those medium tires and has done 23 laps on them now coming through turn 4. Puff Digital, he pit around lap 7 for his hard tires, and is now in a battle for the win here with Alt Maverick in P3, getting past Hightower there very nicely. And then Soy Loco, who is in net 3rd place with RC pitting very soon, I'm guessing. But he does have 3 penalties, and I believe Sam doesn't have any penalties, but just about 7 seconds back, and that gap seems to be extending. So Sam is really going to have to try and push to stay within that 9-second window.
Yeah, and something that we have to keep in mind too is that Maverick, remember, he pitted very early in the race because of his wing damage, so I think his hard tires are starting to fall off finally, in comparison to Puff and Soy Loco, because like I said, he's really not gaining much time. He's kind of sitting around that 2.6 to 2.7 second gap. So I think this could just be his tires falling off sooner than everyone else's, just because he had to pit earlier than everybody else.
Yeah, having a little bit of slide there through turn 1. All Maverick did pit on lap 1 is actually Sam has just let Zamagos through down into turn 1. I think that's smart from the second Red Bull driver there. Just going to let Zamagos try and battle these top 4, and Sam is going to be maybe allowed to close in just ever so slightly to the back. Well, I guess the Puff, All Maverick, and Soy Loco, the top 3 net drivers. As Puff is just about 1.5 seconds now, so RC should be pitting soon. As you say, All Maverick, seems to have his tires be wearing. I think those tires have just found their second win as Alt Maverick has closed in a second to Puff, giving another commentator's curse there to Puff. What's your what do you have against Puff?
No, I picked him for the win. I got nothing against Puff, but yeah, this kind of debunks my theory. I don't know. Maybe Puff is saving, but I don't see why he would, because his competitor behind him has older tires. So yeah, this is interesting. Maverick is really gaining, and all he needs to do is get within a second, and he's got DRS, and that will bring him right in. So similar to last week, we might have another one of those Puff Maverick battles, it looks like. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised. 22 laps to 16 laps, and it looks like the 22 laps are much faster right now.
Puff did just outside of the second window to RC7, and actually it's 7/10 behind, so now he's going to be picking up the dirty air, as I say that, going through turn 4, picking up his third penalty of the Grand Prix, now equal with Soy Loco. There's absolutely no way I think Puff wins this race now, unless there's a huge mistake from Alt Maverick, or unless he gets a puncture or has to pit again. But yeah, I just don't see how Puff could win the race in these current circumstances.
You got to keep in mind, too, remember Canada when Maverick got very desperate, made a big move on Scavney into Wall of Champions, ended up wrecking himself. So Maverick could very well end up picking up more penalties just trying to get to Puff, because unlike last week, it's Maverick chasing Puff, not Puff chasing Maverick. And now RC's in the pits, so this really comes down to Maverick and Puff. They don't have to worry about RC being in the way, so this will be very interesting. I'm just kind of surprised at Maverick's pace right now, considering how much older his tires are.
Yeah, at this point, I think all Maverick tires should be just ever so slightly falling off, but he is seeming to found a renewed pace in his Haas F1 car. But yeah, now the gap is just stabilizing out to 1.3. Maybe Puff is starting to push again, since he has a clean slate, as to say. And he has 2 warnings to try and use to his advantage to Alt Maverick. But yeah, now that gap is actually extending with Puff with RC7 pitting from what was the lead of the race, now promoting Puff Digital, Alt Maverick, and Soy Loco into their respective positions.
Yeah, and you know, I don't want to say anything because, you know, that's gone pretty poorly this race for me. But Soy Loco so far looks like he may be picking up a podium here. Obviously, the last couple of weeks he's had great runs, just hasn't been getting the results. So this could be a great points day for Soy Loco to get in the podium. But like I said, I'm usually wrong about these things, so we'll see. Still a lot of racing left. Can't count out Sam either. Sam has barely fresh tires. I don't think that's gonna have an impact. But Sam, pretty good race for him as well. Zamaglis could play a factor if he gets up to Soy Loco. I don't think that'll be a problem, but yeah, Maverick and Puff, I think, will be pretty close here at the end of the race.
But yeah, you're also going to look out to Mr. Baboon down in 6th place, just being ever so slightly within DRS, I believe 0.967 of a second within or to the gap to Sam. But Mr. Baboon making an absolute genius strategy call, pitting under the VSC, which nobody else did. That was caused by Agi Lakta gaining a lot of positions, as you can see, because RC is down in 9th place on his fresh soft tires. I don't exactly remember who was in that train, because I believe Mr. Baboon pit from 2nd or 3rd in that train of the people who started in the alternate strategy. But yeah, he's really made it work, and is up into would be P5 with Michael's not scoring.
Yeah, and it could be P4 if he can get by Sam right here. It looks like he's in DRS range as of now, so Mr. Baboon once again could have another solid week. Remember, he was in the podium last week, but kind of on the other end of the result table, Scavney again could be getting a low amount of points, so this could just extend the gap in the points even more. And you know, Scavney, he, like I said before, he had an opportunity with Maverick having his issues, but it looks like he's going to really need to rally at Belgium next week. We do have a yellow in Sector 3.
Ooh, that's, who is that? Is that Bigga again?
I think that's Ryan.
Yes, that is Ryan. My bad, Bigga. But yes, down 12th position, already spinning twice in the Ferrari, now moving up into P12. Once he passes the Alfa Romeo of Ryan, as Ryan is actually pulled into the pit lane and retired. So Scavney is going to be moving up into P12 with GP Colin right behind him. And then Monkey Mafia, his first race in ZOR, not going to plan. I believe he got either spun or had front wing damage at the beginning of the race. He had to pit quite early on into this Grand Prix, around lap 4 or 5 in his Alpha Tauri. But it's actually really nice to see a full-time driver in the Alpha Tauri now.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, he's taken those hards for 26 laps, so he's doing a pretty good job right now in this race. You know, it's just his first race. He's just out there getting laps in. So, yeah, good debut for him so far. Obviously, I think he would have liked points, but like I said, it's literally his first race, so I'm sure there'll be improvements. And like you said, it's good to see somebody in the AlphaTauri that will definitely help them in constructors. But going back up front, it's interesting because just as Maverick was closing in, he's kind of just stopped around that 2-second gap. So maybe Puff was saving a little bit, but that was when he got another penalty. So strange stuff. Let's see if Maverick can close back in. He does have Terminal in the way right now, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, RC getting past his Racing Point teammate Janet for P7 on those fresh off tires. Now looking to track down Mr. Baboon in P6 on his hard tires. He's already closed in 2/10 has RC on Mr. Baboon. But yeah, Alt Maverick, that gap has been very, very slowly extending. At one point it was 1.2 seconds just a few laps ago, but it's now opened up to 2.5 seconds. Alt Maverick seeming to fall off with his 27-lap-old hard tires, tied for the most worn tires. I believe actually Monkey Mafia has that record once he crosses the line in his Alpha Tauri down in 14th. But yeah, Alt Maverick tires seem to be starting to fall off.
Yellow in Sector 2, looks like that's just Niebuhr possibly. Oh no, there's a car sitting. Looks like Scavney went around.
Yeah, Scavney, the second place in the championship. He does have front wing damage on his McLaren. He's going to be losing even more places. Not like it matters anymore because he was not fighting for points. But yeah, the leaders are very, very close here. Sam, Mr. Baboon, just barely getting within DRS of Sam there, of Sam there, going through turn 4. RC on the fresh soft tires, just been closing in 2 seconds last lap in the battle for P5 here. Then Zamagos in P4 on the back of Soy Loco. I don't think he is going to be trying to make any moves here. I wouldn't think, since Zamagos is a reserve. But then you have Alt Maverick and Puff Digital, who's been fighting the entire race for this race win. Monkey Mafia getting out of the way very, very nicely there for Puff Digital, your race leader. Yeah, now going on to lap 32. This one could, and I hope, will spice up very, very quickly.
Yeah, and we noticed that Puff did get DRS off of Monkey Mafia, so that definitely helps. And he's almost 3 seconds ahead of Maverick, so if Maverick pushes a little hard, gets one more penalty, Puff could still win this race, because like I said, almost 3 seconds out. I believe he has 3 penalties, so I think Maverick just needs one more penalty, and Puff could be in a good position here, because Maverick's tires, they're not getting any younger. They're 28 laps old now, and he's clearly losing pace to Puff right now.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens with Alt Maverick's tires. He's actually outside of that 3 second gap now, as RC7 has made it past Mr. Baboon, and that has allowed Jinnit to be within a second. Now it's Eric also closing in, so the entire field is just starting to close up behind Sam, who's 1.1 in front of RC, but RC is going to be towing along the guys behind him of Mr. Baboon and Jin to win, as Eric picks up a penalty. I believe that is 4th in the Mercedes. Eric really, really known for these penalties now. But yeah, Zamaglos is actually closed on Siloco as well. Not going to be making any moves. But yeah, as we mentioned earlier, Alt Maverick is only 3.2 behind. At one point, that gap was 1.2. I believe only 5 laps ago. But yeah, now that gap is very, very quickly extended.
Yeah, and things are looking great for Puff right now. Couple more laps. We'll see what. Oh, Soy Loco penalty. So that pretty much puts him out of the conversation. I think he'll still get a podium, but we'll have to see. He has gotten a handful of penalties so far. I don't think that will be a problem.
Ooh, Mr. Baboon with the second. Yeah, I believe that is Mr. Baboon's second penalty of this race. He did make a pretty good strategy call, but now he's just falling through the field on his older tires. Jin actually having older tires than him in the racing point, but Mr. Baboon just struggling in his Alfa Romeo Sauber to keep his car on the track, picking up his second 3-second time penalty. Now RC, he's onto the back of Sam. Going to be trying to make this overtake on the Red Bull very, very quickly. I believe down into turn 1, going on to what is their lap 34. But yes, Puff Digital and Alt Maverick are on lap 34 of the Hungarian Grand Prix here at the Hungaroring. Is Scavney second place in the championship, hit for soft tires and went for fastest lap. So he won't be getting that point as he has just been lapped by Zamaglis and Soy Loco. But yeah, Scavney, second place in the championship, still just not having the form to compete with Alt Maverick.
Oh, Eric sends it on Mr. Baboon, and looks like he gets that done. So Eric right now looking like he's going to finish in, looks like P7.
Ooh,
You gotta think about penalties.
Trying it around the outside there, just not having the grip that the Mercedes of Eric will have on his fresher hard tires. But yeah, Mr. Baboon is just starting to fall away from the rest of the field. I don't think he'll fall behind. Let Romney down in 10th place, 20.5 seconds behind these 3 drivers. But yeah, seems Mr. Baboon is going to be settling here for a P8 with Eric's penalties. Ooh, Jinnit picks up his second penalty, I think. So Mr. Baboon and Jinnit might be equal here as Puff Digital goes on to the last lap of this Grand Prix. 3.8 seconds to Alt Maverick. And if Alt Maverick picks up a penalty here, it'll be absolutely costly to his chance of a race win. But yeah, Puff Digital with 3 seconds of time penalties, and Alt Maverick only having the 1 time penalty. So Puff Digital is going to try and have to extend that gap to 2.4 seconds to the Haas into second place.
Hey, take a look at the guy who's P4 right now, the Tier 2 drivers, RC. He actually could end up in the podium because Soy Loco does have a handful of penalties. I have not seen RC's name come up very much in penalties at all. So if RC manages to get on the podium, that would be a great job for him. He started back in P13, so definitely a driver of the day contestant. But yeah, I mean, Soy Loco, it's not over for him yet.
Yeah, since
Oh
France...
no!
Ooh, what
Soy
happened?
Loco spins!
Oh, Soy Loco.
Wow.
Yeah, spinning through the turn 6 and 7 chicane. RC is going to get that place on track now. Wow. So RC is going to be onto the podium now. Soy Loco just losing so many positions, losing even the place to Mr. Baboon in 8th place. Does he have a puncture? He has a left rear puncture.
Oh.
Yes, spinning as Alt Maverick is going to be taking the win away from Puff Digital here. Puff Digital having the absolute outright speed in qualifying, but Alt Maverick is going to take the win. Puff Digital just having way too many penalties, only finishing at the end of the race 1.6 seconds behind. We're sorry to miss the end of the finishing result here, but RC is going to be taking 3rd place with Zamaglis being moved out of the way, and then Sam and Jin at Racing Point have a very good day. Both cars in the top 5 there for them, and then Mr. Baboon in 7th on that very, very good strategy call, who would be I guess 6th now, and then it's Eric in 7th. So Loco in 8th with that puncture. Or actually, no, he's losing places still. So it's going to be Lit Romney in 8th place. So it's going to be 7-8 for Mercedes. And then Soy Loco just puttering to the line with Arbiga just in behind him. So Arbiga, even with that absolutely dreadful race from the second Ferrari, is going to be picking up 1 point here tonight.
Yeah. Well, great for RC, but Soy Loco, once again, just another good run. And you know, I really don't think he did much wrong here. He was 2/3 of a lap away from getting to the finish, finishing on the podium potentially, and just a puncture at the worst time. He just, like I said, just needed a few more corners. tough luck from him. He definitely didn't do much wrong there. But yeah, that definitely stinks for him. But RC on the podium, great stuff for him. I think that might be one of his first podiums on the season. Yeah, great stuff from him. And then Maverick, I mean, that's insane. To have wing damage on lap 3 of the race, to pit and not have any safety cars, drive through the field and get the victory is incredible. And with Scavney having his issues, I mean, like I said before, if there's any point in the season to where he's going to look back on and be like, wow, this is a huge moment, I think it's got to be this race, because I've not seen a drive like that in a while, to come all the way from the back and pick up the win.
Yeah, so Alt Maverick not going to be extending his championship lead, with Scavney not scoring any points to 51 points for the man in the Haas. There's absolutely no one who could beat him now, I do not think. But at one point in the season, I had a 40-point lead, but we are also not going to talk about that. But yeah, Excel Lando, who is one of the races in LOE. Alt Maverick, I believe, races in D5. Alt Maverick being his race engineer for tonight. 74% in 33 laps for Alt Maverick as he takes the race win away from Puff Digital, finishing second on track but keeping it more clean through the corners. Alt Maverick takes your race win here in Hungary, with Puff Digital in second and Zamagos in third. He's not going to be finished there or scoring points. So RC picking up his one of his, I believe, one of the first podiums of the season for him in Racing Point. Sam going to be P4, Jinnit P6, Mr. Baboon P7. Or no, it'd be P6. Eric and Lit Romney, the two Mercedes, in 7th and 8th. Biga in 9th. And so Loco actually going to be picking up a point in 10th.
All right, so Packer, I'll be right back. Give me like 30 seconds, but we can get those guys in here. I'm very interested in what all three of those guys have to say.
Yeah, let's do that now. Okay, who do I have to add? I have to add Puff, Mavericks, and Ursi. Puff, Maverick, Ursi. Puff, Maverick, Ursi. Puff, Maverick. And Alt Maverick. Oh yes, yes. Okay. I wonder. I'm gonna. Ooh, okay. Yeah. Okay, Alt Maverick. Let's see. Okay, RC has joined, which is good. Alt underscore Maverick. There he is. Okay. Oh.
So, how is it to watch?
It was good.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
wasn't. I would say it wasn't as exciting in terms of action-wise as Canada or Silverstone, but the strategy game was a lot more intriguing than those two races. But yeah, as Alt Maverick, our race winner, has joined into the commentators booth for interviews here. Alt Maverick, a pretty good race from you, having that wing damage on lap 1 or lap 2 there, having to pit right away at the start of this 35 lap a long Grand Prix. How was it? How was the race from you, strategy-wise, and how was it conserving those tires? I know you had a little bit of a disadvantage to Puff there towards the end. How was it for you?
Uh, I think it could have. I mean, I think I say this every week. It could have gone better. The wing damage made it obviously a lot worse. Uh, and I had Lando in the party with me. Um, and I hit the back of Puff and I screamed. I was like, wing damage, wing damage. And he was like, you're joking, right? And I was like, nope, not joking. So I did that extra lap. I came in and the only thing I thought to myself that entire race was, you did this in Australia, so just do it again. And I did some testing earlier today with Lando, and those hards, they didn't go off that much the entire race. So I knew I could push, but obviously the 6 lap difference between me and Puff there at the end obviously got me as he started to pull away once RC pulled into the pits.
Yeah, Maverick, a really good race from you, considering what happened. And with Scavney getting no points, this is huge for you in the standings. How comfortable are you going forward into Belgium and the rest of the season with the gap that you now have ahead of Scavney in the points?
Uh, I I would say it's more comfortable than I think it's been the entire season. Uh, for most of the season, I was behind Scavney. I think after um, whatever's after Vietnam, I think it was China. I think ever since then, I've been behind him, and now that I'm ahead by this much, um, I think it's nice. But obviously, he's been the championship leader, and you see his form now. It's not the best. It's not what he wants, I'm sure. And if it happens to him, it can for sure happen to me. So I just got to make sure that I don't give up too much, and I just my motto is give nothing back, and right now I can't give up 51 points.
Yeah, we aren't gonna mention my championship lead. That is now at one point was tied. But yeah, now going on to Puff. You had a very, very good qualifying there, doing a 14.1, being on pole by over, I believe, 2/10. But yeah, obviously you had a lot of confidence coming here to the Hungary ring. Your race obviously didn't go to plan. Just picking up penalties, just extending the track too much. How happy are you with your race pace, and how do you feel about the penalties and then eventually losing the win to Alt Maverick?
Uh, I don't know where to begin. This one hurts the most, I think. The other ones I was behind. It's different when you're behind trying to chase someone and you have penalties. It doesn't make a difference. But I don't know. I definitely felt today, at least out of the tier 2 guys, I had the most pace. I ran out of fuel like midway through the race though, and really started having to conserve for like laps on end. Um, and then I don't know. The race pace was okay. I just couldn't keep it between the lines, I guess, which is the most frustrating part. But um, and then yeah, I don't know, for whatever reason I didn't bring enough fuel, and yeah, around like lap 18 I started having to put it in lean for pretty much the entire lap except for the pitch straight and then the run down to turn 2. So um, I don't know. Yeah, this one sucks, but on to the next one. I mean, still second place, and I am quite happy with the quality lap I put down.
Yeah, Puff. Well, first of all, it's good to see you again. Seems to be a regular thing on both Thursdays and Mondays. But yeah, another week of you doing really well. And even though it's not a win, I mean, this is, like I said, a great points day. And as of late, you've been really rallying through the points and getting a lot. Can you still see a good out of this race, even though it's not a win, considering how much points you were able to get out of this race?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially with the qualifying lap. I mean, some of the newer guys, I guess, won't know, but I did used to be quite quick. And this was the first week where I felt I had legitimate tier 1 pace. Not race winning pace or anything like that, but enough to at least be competitive and fight for points in that tier had I been racing on Monday. So, I mean, I do feel like I keep getting better. I keep getting closer to victory. It's just those little things each week, and I don't know. It's just a matter of time, hopefully, before I can put it all together.
Yeah. But now we go on to the racing point of RC7. I'm not too sure if this is your first podium or not, but it's definitely one of the first that you've had this season, and one of the first that Racing Point have had this season. Racing Point down in sixth in the constructors, having a very, very close fight with Red Bull and AlphaTauri. Both Racing Points getting inside the top five tonight. How happy are with your? Are you happy with your race and with your race as a whole from the team perspective?
Hey, yeah, yeah, I'm quite pleased with that actually. I didn't think going into the race that it had the pace for a podium. But yeah, the strategy kind of evolved for me. I was going to do a medium hard, and then thought these tires are quite good, so I went long on the mediums. I was able to put the softs on at the end. Um, so yeah, it made the race a bit more exciting in the end stages than the first stages. But yeah, really pleased with my first podium with no lines. So good to be back here.
Yeah, RC, great stuff from you, man. Yeah, so you stretched those mediums pretty far out throughout a lot of the race, and were you possibly banking on a safety car potentially coming out? Because if a safety car came out, you were going to be in a perfect position.
That's what I was hoping for. When I went so long on them, I thought I could get to the end of the race, um, without a safety car, um, but a safety car on lap 24 would have been nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, great runs from all three of you guys, and well, we usually ask this question every week. Puff, I know how you feel about next week. But for RC and Maverick, how are you guys feeling about Belgium next week?
I usually have good pace around there. Um, I know LOE that I do on Saturdays. I had some pretty good pace around there. Um, didn't finish as high as I wanted. Um, but it's one of my favorite tracks. I know I'm going to be quick around there. Um, but it's just the only thing that matters with if I say that I'm quick is just if I'm going to be quicker than the other 19 guys on the grid. So
Yeah, RC, how are you feeling about Belgium next week?
Yeah, I really don't know, to be quite honest. This is the first season that I've went with no lines. Some tracks I'm quicker than others, obviously. So pretty much just looking to build on, you know, this week especially. I think I've had 4 or 5 disappointing weeks, where you know, wing damage and spins, collisions with other drivers have cost me. This season, or sorry, this race, I was able to make it count, and hopefully we can find a bit of pace next week and get some more points on the board.
Yeah, should be quite the race next time out in Belgium. Now looking towards the rest of the tiers, we do have EU on Sunday. Back here on the Zenith Online Race, or yeah, Zenith Online Racing YouTube channel for yeah, for Sunday back at the Hungaroring, and then we have Monday and then Thursday for Tier 1 and Tier 2 respectively at Spa Francorchamps. But yeah, you guys should go check out the EU tier again. Go check out Zyg's solo comps. Maybe we can get someone to join him for this weekend. But yeah, it's been me, Iro Packer, and Camden. So see ya.